Now that we have a weapon in the game and a potential enemy, it is time to learn a little bit about GUIs. Now, as we have seen, we can throw grenades, and as we throw grenades, it shows down here in the bottom of the console window, it shows how many grenades we have left. Now that's nice and all that, of course, but as soon as you export your game, the console window will not be viewable to people who are not developing the game. The people that play the game will not see that. So we need to have some kind of visual confirmation on the screen of how many grenades we have, and that's where the GUIs come in. Now the term GUI, GUI, or Graphical User Interface, dates all the way back to the time when computers were still operated by operating systems that were completely consisting out of text. So maybe if you're as old as me, then you'll remember the DOS operating system, which is consistently only operated by text, and you'd have to remember commands to type in, and as soon as you type those in, it would either execute or fail based on what parameters you gave it. So back in those days, you had to be pretty nerdy to use a computer because you had to remember all those text-based codes or commands. Now, when the GUI first came on the scene, that was the first visual interface for computers, and it came right around the time of the invention of the mouse. And GUI is everything you see on the screen, so basically a scroll bar or a button or anything like that is called a GUI because it is part of the graphical user interface, a user interface that is consisting out of graphics. Now, usually in games though, the term GUI is not used much. It's actually the term HUD or HUD, and that stands for heads up display, because when you're firing your gun, you want to have a heads up of how many rounds of ammo you have left. So it's called a display, a heads up display. Now I don't know why Unity went for the term GUI, probably because they wanted to show that you can do more with Unity than only the heads up display. You can also make windows and stuff like that that you can open and close, but in Unity it's called a graphical user interface. Now, a graphical user interface lays on top of the rendering of the game. So you can see the 3D world, but after that the GUI is rendered on top of the screen. So that means it doesn't have depth. Well, it does, of course. It can overlay on top of each other and stuff like that, but technically it only has X and a Y so that you can move it over the screen. So let's move on to the next video, and I'll show you how to make a simple GUI so that we can start viewing how many grenades we have on the screen.